Episode 207, California's new AI chatbot law.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI 6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
California has become the first US state to pass comprehensive safety laws around AI chatbots, particularly ones designed to be companions, advisors, or friends. Hello and welcome back to AI 6, the podcast that keeps you up to date with all things AI and breaking it down into simple terms to help you ride this new AI wave. I'm your host and guide, Joanne Sweeney. So the new California law is called Senate Bill 243 and Governor Gavin Newsom signed it in October. It comes into effect on January 1st, 2026. He says he's motivated to protecting lives, noting that over the past few years, there have been cases of teenagers engaging with chatbots that really calls into question how they can be used. So let's talk about the core provisions of Senate Bill 243. Well, first of all, it highlights transparency. Platforms must clearly disclose that a chatbot is not human and remind minors every 3 hours that interactions are artificial. On safety, chatbots must detect suicidal ideation or self-harm language and immediately direct users to crisis support services such as hotlines or text lines. Developers must submit annual reports to the California Department of Public Health or Office of Suicide Prevention describing their safeguards and statistics or referrals. Operators must implement age verification systems. Chatbots are banned from pretending to be healthcare professionals and from generating sexually explicit content for minors. Families are granted a private right of action to sue non-compliant companies, and AI firms will fall within the law's scope when their products operate in California. More broadly, this bill is part of an AI safety agenda that includes age verification for app stores, social media warning labels, AI transparency for frontier model developers. So California is really pushing responsible AI governance on companies, but also on developers who are independently developing chatbots. Back here in Europe, and I'm in Ireland, so we're regulated by the EU's AI Act. Chatbot regulation is more broader. We have strict rules here. Articles 50 and 52 require that any chatbot, voice bot, or conversational AI must tell users they are interacting with AI, not a human. Users must always have the option to escalate to a human if they choose. Any text, image, or audio generated by AI, including deep fakes, must be clearly labelled as AI generated to prevent the spread of misinformation. Providers must maintain technical documentation enabling regulators to verify compliance and trace data protection. Of course, as we know, and if you're a listener to this podcast, the EU AI Act is built on risk. So minimal risk would be considered spam filters or non-interactive utilities. Limited risk covers most customer service chatbots, which must comply with transparency and record-keeping obligations. And then high risk applies to systems used in education, recruitment, health, or justice, and they require human oversight, bias testing, and robust safety frameworks. Then we have unacceptable risk, systems posing threats to fundamental rights such as social scoring or manipulative emotional profiling, and these are banned outright under the EU AI Act. So, with any AI innovation, you need to understand the legal parameters within which you must operate. It's very important. And if you don't have that knowledge, then speak to a legal expert who can interrogate the EU AI Act, or indeed any legislation wherever you are in the world, and make it applicable to your AI innovations. So it's like the chapter in my book talks about, there's AI reward, but there's also AI risk, and we must strike that balance. But it's clear to me that states and countries and continents are really interrogating AI and trying to build in those safety measures in order to protect users who may not have the emotional intelligence or the technical know-how to understand and decipher that there can be a risk to giving all to an AI chatbot versus choosing to talk to a human. As always, the AI race is accelerating and it is a complex landscape. So I hope you found this episode valuable. If you did, please share it with a colleague or a pro that you know. And if you want to learn more about AI, I have a book, AI Playbook, available now to buy at aimarketingplaybook.ie or on Amazon. And I will be back tomorrow with more on AI6.